Hello and welcome to episode 61 of I'm Fine, a chat between myself, Damo, and someone who I recently discovered has a fascination with frog spawn. Mark.
Are you a fan?
I'd never really thought about it, to be fair.
No.
We always used to muck about with it in primary school. You know what I mean? But I haven't been involved
I think it's
in my adulthood.
Yeah. No, yeah.
You just like it, do you?
Works for me, yeah.
What, you eat it, or do you kind of...
Looks like it could be edible, doesn't it?
Maybe quite nutritious, wouldn't it? It's a chat around the subjects of health, wealth, well-being, fitness, food, and slowing things down a little bit. You know, like taking 5 and kicking back a little, you know, taking it easy, like that Fit Rabbit and the Cadbury's Caramel ads back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Whew. Did you know she was voiced by Miriam Margolyes?
What? Yes, I did know, but I didn't know.
Well, you do
you
know
said.
everything. What, just then?
If you'd asked me, I wouldn't have known.
You literally knew that second I told you.
Well, that's
so I said,
thoughts.
did you know?
have no control over your thoughts, do
No,
you?
oh, you went. That's a good one. We'll come to that in a minute. So you didn't know. I said, did you know that it was voiced by? And you said yes, literally because I just told you.
Oh.
Or did you know about? Have you heard that before?
I think I've heard it before, but
I haven't told you.
No, but that's really interesting that my answer was yes.
Well, you could have said yes because you literally just told me, don't you? Anyway.
It's quite literal, wasn't it?
Yeah. We're all work in progress, and this podcast is no exception. In short, it's a poke at our perfectly imperfect lives, and if we can make just one person feel like they're not alone in all this. Madness! Then our work here is done.
You're like dram, aren't you?
I'm not sure how that's going to come out, but I thought about doing it. Oh, I'm just so crazy, aren't I? Make sure you subscribe to us in your podcast app and follow us on the socials by searching for I'm Finecast. Come on, hang out. Cool over there. We muck about on Instagram. We like it. And please do drop us an email at imfinecast@gmail.com.
You're not going to say it, but that picture, although I think you got a bit of mailbag for it, I heard on the grapevine. Your cockerel picture.
Yeah, my little Photoshop
job. It's really
job.
good. I was really impressed.
You were like, where'd you get that from? I'm like, who just did it?
Which clever person did that?
I'm a graphic designer, isn't it? Just, you know, just keeping my chops.
We're getting a bit loud on the levels.
It's just me, because I take my hat off.
Got you.
Coming up in this episode, bookmarks and catch-ups in a sec. Work-life ballet. What did we do before mobile phones?
I'm not going to answer yet.
No. Brain food. We've got a section from Mark called Forced Reality and Retribution.
Catchy.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Got some mailbag, haven't we?
Yes.
We've got some life hacks.
And some deliveries.
Oh, yes.
Mailbag with parcels. Proper
mailbag. Mark, you're looking like really well. Like 12 stone of wellness.
Thank you.
You know, you're 12 stone?
Yeah, still 12
stone.
Are you? Yeah.
Oh, you said still good. We haven't announced that you are actually 12 stone yet.
Oh.
We've gone through that milestone. You kept it quiet. And you kind of dropped it the other day and I went, oh, have you? Congratulations.
It's like a gender announcement party, isn't it? Set off balloons.
Yeah.
Release 12 stones into the air. Carried by extra hench carrier pigeons.
Like it. You're still maintaining your good. 12 stone of...
Yep. And it's funny, the guy I'm training with, we were saying that it's almost about not reaching that target and just being defined by the weight, but it's I feel it's a good weight to be at. So I haven't tried to get to that weight by going, if I'm 12 stone, life will be happy. In the same way, if someone's doing weight loss, I'm going to go down to 8 stone and life will be happy. But I felt for a while that I've been maybe not eating properly, not fueling properly, not supplementing properly, but still working out 6 times a week. And I think there hasn't been a correlation between fuel going in and energy expended. And I feel now at this weight, I feel good and healthy. I feel very strong.
Good.
Hence I can lift slam balls with my...
That was good.
I mean,
it's gone now because unless you've saved it anywhere, but you did put an Instagram up. You haven't put one up for a while. I mean, apart from your commentary, which is good, but you haven't put any of you, with your top off.
No.
Looking all hench.
Top off my Russian mate.
Yeah. For those who didn't see it on Instagram, you see you're missing out. You were doing a pull-up.
Yeah.
A kind of wide grip pull-up, is it? That's
neutral grip.
Neutral grip,
because my palms were inwards rather than forwards. Yeah.
Holding onto a 10-kilo ball with your feet. Like some animal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
Thank you. Like one of those ants that carries.
Yeah.
Or dung beetle.
Yeah.
They do that, don't they?
Yeah. You could try that. I'll get some hits on TikTok, wouldn't it?
What, pulling up a dung beetle?
No, just kind of, lifting shit. I don't know what I'm going with that. Discomfortable is a word.
Oh, Okay.
But it says tending to deprive of mental or physical ease or uncomfort, which kind of works with what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Internet madness. There's a few things on here I wanted to cover off.
Okay.
As we alluded to in the last pod.
Why did you say off after cover?
What?
Why did you say off after cover?
To cover off?
I
said, what are you doing to me?
You could have saved yourself a second.
Well, yeah, now you've interrupted me.
Now you've lost.
You could have saved 30 seconds if you had just shut up.
So you've now got to say cover instead of cover off 30 times before you get this back. You're in deficit.
Oh, shit.
Carry on. Don't let me interrupt you.
You mentioned glow up, and I went, yeah, like I knew what a glow up was, and I didn't know what a glow up was when you were talking about. We're talking about how it started and how it went, and we didn't talk about it in the end, but you were talking about but we were talking about glow ups. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
You did.
Yes.
I've got a definition of what glow up for anyone who else, all three other people who went, what's a glow up? The art of glowing up is a very intricate, elaborate and individual process that usually happens over 3 to 6 years and sometimes even up to 10 years. Urban Dictionary defines a glow up as an incredible transformation, or to go from the bottom to the top to the point of disbelief. I guess like a transformation that's just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Essentially, glow up is another phrase for going through puberty, but the glow up process focuses on the improvement of physical appearance, individual style, overall attractiveness and maturity, in contrast to puberty, which basically focuses on physical and biological developments, such as facial hair for the boys, beards for the girls.
Yeah.
A longer definition than just a transformation before and after, right? On to TikTok now.
Right.
Because I'm surprised you haven't turned your microphone off. So where this has come from is we talked about on ages and ages ago about advertising on Instagram and Facebook, things popping up because your microphone's on. WhatsApp, I've come off that now, so I don't hardly get any ads. That was clear. WhatsApp was fueling the ads that I was getting. And we've also kind of talked about not just the audio, but even stuff we've typed. Yes. And I remember having a conversation with my mate Gaz about minis because he was buying a mini at the time. And I was only texting him. And then I started to get ads about minis, almost the exact mini we were texting about. Didn't have a conversation, wasn't audible, just text. So I binned all that off, went to Signal, not just for that reason, but other reasons. You went back on TikTok or turned the microphone on or something? I don't know.
So I'd turned all my microphones off. We'd had all the discussions. And what I've been interested in seeing, mostly for content for this and also just to send you endless ridiculous pictures of my conspiracy theory, just the depth. We had this discussion a while ago. I said to you about how I have a different feeling about mobile phone shops, that each of them has a feeling for me.
You have talked about ranking.
Yeah, so it's ranking, but they also evoke a certain emotion within me.
Okay.
So Vodafone, to me, is run-of-the-mill, needs a bit of a wash, fairly reliable, never really going to do much. When you go in there, you think the guys there and the girls there are like,
I know what you
they're
mean about
okay.
A wash. I know what you mean about that.
Yeah. And in this happens in all industries. So when I was a bookie, Ladbrokes, ironically also red, and very similar to Vodafone in their marketing, was almost like they're 5 years behind the time and they just need a good old scrub and then but they're never going to blow you away. And then you walk down the road to 3 and you go, the guys here, they're only going to be here for 18 months because they're wheeler dealers and they're going to set up selling sweets on TikTok, but for the moment, and they're the ones that at the end go, give us a 5-star review, all right, mate? Like slightly threatening because their performance repays, and it's like, you will, and they sort of give you the evils, and it's like, you go, yeah, of course I will. But 3 is fresh and invigorating, and they have great offers, edgy. And feel comfortable.
Yeah. What about O2?
O2 is just like, I don't quite understand O2. I just don't know where they are, because sometimes their adverts have those little bubbles going up, and I'm thinking, oh, that's fresh and exciting. And then there's the O2 venues, and then I don't know what else O2. Anyway.
Any others?
This isn't good radio or thingy.
EE. What do you think of them?
I don't like what's his face.
Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, so I'm prejudiced against them. Anyway.
Any road up. Where are we going with that?
And like PlusNet, a part of BT, I didn't realise that. So BT have obviously gone, let's do someone that's really cheap but looks cheap, but it's actually BT.
Yeah, where are you going with that? TikTok, microphones.
Oh yeah, so I turned the microphones off, and so basically it's around content. Oh yeah, so this was the point I was saying. TikTok, when you watch TikTok, you need a wash.
After.
When you watch...
I think one of our pods the other week kind of at the beginning explained that.
And this is the point I'm saying about how we're being watched or listened to. Mm-hmm. I think Instagram is fairly obvious. You talk about something, it comes up with an ad, and the ad is probably quite relevant.
Yeah.
It isn't like we're looking into your brain. It's you mention
Yeah.
I want to buy a tomato, and you get an advert for a tomato. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's fine. You're listening to me.
Yeah.
You sent me a picture of tomato. But TikTok is like, we're not only listening to you, we're actually inside your head. And I think why I've kept the microphone on is in the last pod, we're going on about China, and there's me going, blah, 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 and they're doing this, and blah, blah. But yeah, I'll leave my microphone open for the Chinese government to listen to everything I'm saying and listen to the pod.
Yeah.
Interesting as well, I said to you on the pod, in our early looking at the states in America, and I know we were trying to get the guy...
You can see why they're terrified of TikTok, can't you?
Yeah, but we were San Francisco.
Where are we hot right now, Mark?
Sorry?
Where are we hot right now in the States?
I think Virginia's top.
Oh, hello.
Anyway.
I sound like an idiot when I just say hello like that, don't I? Virginia is top.
That is so sad.
What?
That I know in which country.
Well, not really. If anyone knows you, I know that's not sad.
Try me another one. Go Germany.
Right.
Try Germany. Just ask me.
Germany.
Bavaria. Go Australia. Go
Australia.
Queensland. Don't do any more.
Okay. That's good.
Where were we? Oh.
Like Rain Man. I called you Rain Man before.
Yeah.
So TikTok, shall I kind of kick this on? You're talking about TikTok. TikTok, I don't even say it anymore.
Matt TikTok.
Matt Hatman Cock. Right.
So I've left my microphones on.
Yes.
And the second thing I want to say, and I'll stop now, is that we were finding that we have changed from WhatsApp. So we've gone on to Signal that has a higher level of encryption.
Good point. I'll bring that. Yes.
So that's where we are.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the first one, we were talking about existentialism the other week when we were talking about philosophy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And literally you had one that came up about existentialism, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm mentioning the philosophers we'd mentioned.
Yeah. The Bullseye one, we're talking about Bullseye John Cooper, the serial killer who was tracked down and from Bullseye. That came up on your thing.
Can I just add on this as well? They also came up on my stream, a non-darts player getting 180 or something.
Oh yes, that's right.
So it was like we'd said, how come the non-darts player, why don't you just...
Again, not just Bullseye clip, but literally what we were talking about. When I was texting you about the breakfast stuff that we featured on the last podcast, I sent that to you and I wrote the word, this is where the relevancy to Signal comes in. I wrote to you, your prediction has come true, and I wrote the word sage, didn't I?
Yes.
So all I wrote was sage. I sent the link and went sage. I don't know how long after that, not that long, within 24 hours, you sent a grab back to me, which had the word sage on it.
Mm-hmm.
It was there was someone in there weightlifting, and it was referencing starting a new business,
which we had also discussed.
Which all the things we're talking about. I mean, some of those things we talked about on Signal, and we've probably talked about it on here as well.
But sage was only Signal. We hadn't spoken that word.
And then you start to think, where's it getting that from? That can't be a coincidence.
No,
it can't be, can it? It just can't.
I have seen that advert before you wrote the word sage. It's been around. That advert's been around.
But not with the word sage on it?
Yeah, with the word sage, because I think it's Sage Accounting. So in terms of coincidence, it was the timing. It was the timing that then made me... I've seen it on... It's been on the TV as well, I think.
What are we been talking about in the last few pods? We've been talking about scooters.
Yep. Of the electric kind.
Yeah, and you get another... What was that today, the one you got on scooters?
What I do is I look at the first 10... So FYP is the page where it's just random.
Yeah.
You don't choose. So I'm not hashtagging something. I'm just opening my phone, opening TikTok.
And let it go.
Let it go.
Right, okay.
And today, the one I sent you was the third video.
Of kids on scooters.
Kids on a scooter.
Yeah.
But this is happening nearly every day. I think I've sent other stuff as well.
Yeah. It's just the ones I could...
Yeah.
In other stuff, other things you've sent me. You sent me a clip, which I only looked at today. You sent it me in the week. Press conference in America, in the White House.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Right?
And
it's a video, and the title of there's the caption by this Rita Panahi says, "This can't be real. It just can't be real." The lectern in, I guess, the White House or somewhere, isn't it?
It's on the grounds of the White House. Okay. Yeah.
Someone has spoken. They move away from the lectern.
Sorry, that one. Yes, sorry. Yeah.
Someone comes up and takes off the folder of paper that's on the lectern and takes it off. And I think that they then disinfect it.
Disinfectant, yeah.
And then put a new one on.
Yep.
And then scurry away. Right?
Being watched by a security man that didn't have a mask on, which made me...
Yeah. And then, we'll put the links up. And then he walks off. Kamala Harris comes up and says, "What, ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, Joe Biden." She steps away from it, literally 2 seconds.
She didn't touch anything.
No,
she just stood there.
Yeah, she steps away from the lectern. This bloke comes on again, takes off the folder, disinfects down the lectern, puts another folder back on, and President Biden steps up, right? It is bizarre. I mean, it's probably all the stuff that normally gets cut out, right?
Yeah.
But you're sitting there going, this can't be It's ridiculous.
Yes, it's real, but it's
hard.
ridiculous.
It's hard. I mean, you have to see for yourself. It's hard. It's hard to process, isn't it?
Yeah.
That we've come to that.
Yes.
Proper madness, indeed.
From a piece of paper that's on a lectern that no one's touched has been disinfected 3 times before someone who's going to come on and probably isn't going to touch it either.
All they need to do is do the pressure comp and then go and wash their hands on the way out, right? And they'll be absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Talking of lecterns, Downing Street's got a new lectern. And it's got a new room to put said lectern inside of it.
Yeah. I think I sent you this as well, didn't I?
Yeah. This thing has cost 2.6 million.
Yep.
So renovation of Downing Street's new White House-style press briefing room. That's a good point. It's got the old Union Jacks behind it. Oh, is that relevant?
Well, it's volume, isn't it? Volume of Union Jacks. Because we're going to talk about Union Jacks and size later.
Oh, okay. And
well, Union flags. It's not Union Jack, is it?
Yeah.
You get told off for that.
And this room, I mean, lots of people have gone, that doesn't look like £2.6 million worth of room. I mean, it looks really cheap, doesn't it? It looks like a crappy TV set, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, this is a leaked picture as well.
Yeah.
Which also left the Henry Hoover in the corner of the shot, which I quite like. I don't know. I don't know what I'm making. But the company that carried out the fit was Russian-owned company?
Yes.
There's all these things like, well, one that costs, that sounds like a lot of money.
Yep.
Whether there's anything else I can't see in that, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure there's like electronic.
I'd probably do that for 15 grand.
Yeah.
And make some money out of it, right? Unless there's anything I can't see. I'll bring my own Hoover.
Yeah.
Why would you get a Russian-owned company? I've got nothing against Russia.
No.
But there's an element of there's plenty of people need work in this country.
That was what came to my mind. It's fine if it was.
If we're all about support, take Brexit for example. You keep, keeping work in the UK.
Yes.
Promoting UK.
Yeah.
Make UK great again. Whatever it was, then why wouldn't you just encourage local company that's been a bit out of work for fucking 12 months to come and help you do the refit?
Well, it's going to save you as a government and as a country money because all those people are either furloughed or unemployed. There must be unemployed carpenters and office.
And also all the Russian hacking stuff that we've been talking about, all the Chinese hacking stuff we've been talking about, a communications room. Yeah. You know what I mean? You think, if you're putting in cabling and audio-visual equipment, just keep, you know what I mean? Does MI5 know you're using a Russian company to do it?
The point that I find strange beyond strange is that a decision was made for that room to be done as it was. So someone has sat down and a committee have sat down and said, what's our budget for this? We're going to tender. So they either tendered and went through a process.
Why should they tender?
Well, this is the point I'm making. They didn't tender for £50 million.
Yeah.
But if they did tender, and it was the best tender, and that's the correct process, and it's a Russian company, in some ways you've got to go, that's what tendering's about. It's a global economy.
Yeah. And it should be in the public domain as to why they chose them, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
With their tenders.
Which is why I say it'd be interesting to do that if it was tendered for. I would have thought 2.6 million of public for that room would have been tendered. In which case, the argument might be, we're not just going to give everything to, there's plenty of things, our bloody water company is French owned, isn't it, in this area? So it's like, we can't just go, everything's got to be British.
No, that almost wasn't my point as well. It just feels a little bit tasteless, doesn't it?
No, it does feel tasteless. What I'm thinking is surely that on this occasion that maybe the tender process could have gone exactly with, because also I'm guessing the Russian company, did they fly in from Russia to do it? Or
I don't know. I don't even know.
It just would have been nice.
I'm not even sure whether it's true, actually, Mark.
Yeah, no, that's true.
It's on Twitter. I'm presuming it's absolutely true.
No, I think it is.
Okay.
I think it is.
It was from a reputable source, what I just said.
Yeah.
For the record.
But yeah, you're right. It doesn't give it's like, come on, lads.
It's from the Times.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that reputable? I don't know. Bit iffy in it. I've been listening to some earlier pods. I mean, I wasn't the reason for our sudden uplifting.
Anything to get the numbers up.
But we joked at the beginning about how soporific we were.
Yeah.
I mean, we're almost like on, if we were records, right, we'd have been on 33 RPM.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now we're definitely on 45, aren't we?
Yeah.
I hadn't kind of realised the difference. I mean, when you're doing it, you don't.
Well, remember, Cleaner Kelly used to sleep to us, didn't she?
I almost fell asleep and driving listening to us.
Yeah.
I was like, have I got this on the wrong speed? I genuinely thought that.
Yeah.
I guess it's just all confidence in it. And
cocaine.
Yeah.
Do you know what happens when I say that? You just look down and go, my mum's listening and she's going to believe it.
No, I don't. Do you know what? Here's the thing, right? I don't want to put any more disclaimers on this, but this one is not going to go in. But some I've always wanted to try.
Okay.
But in a safe environment, you know what I mean? Like with a nurse on standby. You know what I mean? Because I'll be too scared to do it on my own.
Yeah.
But I just want to see what all the fuss is about. I don't think it's I'm not, certainly not condoning drug taking, but there's a little bit of, I'd like to have an opinion on it. Do you know what I mean?
Let's do it then.
On the next one.
Yeah.
I can't do that. Can we?
Good. Anyway, carry on.
Cut that out. I've had a thought. Why don't they make glue on envelopes flavoured or even contain vitamin D? Could you imagine that? Thought I'd share it with you.
Oh, did I mention in the prison when we were there that they took out the glue in magazines and put cocaine there?
No.
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
Well, kind of.
Yeah.
Innovative, should I say? Not cool.
Yeah. We got a
That's
real...
not clever at all.
We got a real upturn in like Men's Health and GQ and all that coming in. And obviously we look at the Mail coming into prisons.
Oh, okay.
And couldn't really work out why it was, but didn't think. And then one day, I think one of them fell open and they'd basically, where the binding was, they'd sort of put cocaine and then stuck them together.
Clever. So you pull it apart and then get licking.
Yeah.
Wow.
Finger looking good.
Can you remember what we did before mobile phones, Mark? Do you know what got me thinking about this?
Nope.
There was something on Banterbus, and we like Banterbus, don't we? Barry's Banterbus.
Yeah.
If you're on Instagram, follow for it. It's brilliant. There's a picture of this little cartoon chap on the toilet.
Yeah.
Reading the back of a Glade air freshener.
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And it said, first smartphone was released in 2007. This is people in 2006.
Yeah.
That absolutely resonated with me.
Yeah.
Because I did exactly the same thing. I'd be on the toilet, I'd be a bit bored.
Yeah.
Just open the cupboard and read the stuff on the back of all the shampoo bottles and stuff like that.
Or play Snake on your Nokia. I don't know. Yes, I mean, it's a really good question. And I guess the rose-tinted glasses is we had a life before smartphones.
Yeah. And you start to think of the little things. I was thinking, right, meeting friends. Like, what did we do?
How did you do that?
So I just think, well, we used to get either dropped off at the cinema, and then next thing you know, from my memory, is that we're all in a cinema, all your mates are there. So what must have happened is you either organised it at school.
Yeah.
I don't really remember using the home telephone very much. So you either must have did it at school, right? We'll see you at the cinema tomorrow night at 7.
Yeah.
And that's just it, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't ever recall a time when you were waiting at a cinema or waiting in the park or whatever and agonising about someone not turning up. If someone didn't turn up, they didn't turn up.
Yeah.
You weren't even worried about them, were you?
No.
They just weren't there. Well, you think now, if someone doesn't turn up because you've agreed, you're either calling them, you're texting them.
Or you track them. No, seriously, I've got people I know who track their partners and will go, they'll be back in 7 minutes.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
For safety, that's...
Yeah, of course, for safety.
That's very good.
Isn't it? So panic has replaced patience. It works both ways. If you can't make it and you're going to be late, you kind of I've got to tell them I'm going to be, there's a panic on, isn't there? Or if someone, they don't show up, you panic. Whereas before you went, oh, well, see them tomorrow.
Yeah.
If they're dead, I'll hear about it tomorrow, right? That's what but now you need to know if they're dead straight away, so you start panicking, don't you? You want to find out where they are, so you're texting them. And I was thinking about even bullying, right? I had a bit of bullying at school, and it happened between lessons in the corridors, and that was kind of it.
Yeah.
I couldn't even begin to imagine what that must be like if it's bullying on a telephone these days, or through text, or so constantly in your pocket at home, where in a place where you should be safe. I cannot imagine what that must be like for kids these days.
And then replicated 1,000 times, so every piece of bullying can be repeated. And
so it can be done in front of
reused.
Everybody else. Yeah. Couldn't it?
Yes.
So you can be shamed, or you can be outed, or whatever on a group chat, or video, or whatever. But if someone has your number, unless you start blocking, there's probably even other ways people can get to you through social and other. It could just never stop, and that is terrifying. Yeah, it is. Then the things we used to argue about. We used to argue for hours at school when you get older in pubs. About who wrote what song, what the lyrics are, who scored what goal in what cup final. Yeah. We've just reduced all that kind of healthy fun
Everyone
debate,
knows everything now, don't they?
Yeah. And if you don't, you can find it out within 10 seconds.
I was thinking the other day, I saw advertised, I didn't watch it. It was, I think it was 1978, Top of the Pops, that they have on BBC 4 sometimes. Yeah. And I can remember, because it was always Thursday night, Top of the Pops, and you'd sit down and there was like a hierarchy of what you wanted to get from that. I think it was only about 25 minutes. It wasn't a long program. So you wanted your favourite songs. You didn't want certain other genres of music. Yeah. You wanted Pan's people to be as Pan's people-y as they can, not realising, I don't know if you've ever looked back in, so for those who don't know, for our worldwide listeners, Pan's People was a dance group. But if you ever revisit their videos, they literally dance to the words of the song.
Oh, there was, yes.
It's a literal translation of the lyrics.
There was no one singing, was there? Is that right?
Well,
I got that
the
wrong.
music would be playing,
and
they would dance on the stage.
There'd be no one singing or mouthing or miming to the lyrics, right?
Yeah, it would just be them dancing.
So they're a dance group.
But
yes,
the basic premise, because there was Pan's people, they were called something else, which I've completely forgotten. Whatever the lyric was how they danced.
Okay,
and it's very interesting in retrospect that it wasn't sort of, the dance didn't actually have any relevance to the beat. It was just a literal interpretation. The point I'm making is that Thursday night viewing, if it didn't play the bands, because this was the only opportunity you got to see the bands. So in 78, if I was into punk and I would often go, oh, the Clash have gone up 25 places in the charts. They must be played because they've gone up 25. They must.
Going, I'm going to see
they
them
have
tonight.
to.
Yeah.
And then you get something, Dolly Parton has gone down one place and for whatever reason she'd be playing. Okay. I'm there with going...
Or they've just been haven't been able to book them.
Yeah, she's gone down in the charts and they're playing her and my band has gone up and it's that sort of like investment in the charts became a good thing. And then your whole day at school is exactly like you're saying. Did you see so-and-so?
Yeah, I can't believe the Clash were in a whole...
Yeah, and that was
so
your world.
I guess what you're saying is now you just get your fix of whatever you want.
Yeah,
whatever you. Is that where you were going?
Well,
with
when
that?
you get the Spotify charts, I'm listening to minutes of music, and then it's just becoming litter. You know, I'm going through song after song after song.
Yeah,
whatever it is last on Spotify when the charts things come out, 6,500 different tracks.
Well, I guess unless it was on TV, either in Top of the Pops, you know, or live or recorded, or what, you know, or unless you went and saw them. There's nowhere else to go and see them. You couldn't just sit there binge watching live video after live video after live video, could
until
you?
Sort of MTV came on. But basically in the 70s, you could record it on a cassette tape. I used to have a microphone.
But it's
and
the choice, isn't it? I could literally think of any band now.
Yes.
And find any live video.
Yeah.
Well, couldn't I?
Yeah.
We both could. Just whatever we want to watch, any point at any time. Crazy. We used to use paper-based maps before we went anywhere.
Yeah.
I used to enjoy looking at maps.
Yeah,
flicking through and going, oh, I didn't know that was. Every time you look at a paper-based map, you go, oh, didn't realise that was. Oh, didn't realise that was quite so close to there. And then you plan them. Then you get to like you know, your dad would always just go, oh yeah, you need to go down the M42, hit the M1, bang, you know, right at Kenilworth, bosh. And you're like, oh, all that's gone, isn't it?
Well, I was doing this as dispatch rider, so imagine having paper maps.
It's all in your head, isn't it? And then,
well, you had to carry it on your bike. The very first job I got, and I've said about my motorbike dispatch, I turned up pristine, and they gave me this lime green and white leather jacket with a pony on the back.
Well, that sounds nice. That's nice now.
Still got it.
Have you?
Still got it. Yeah.
I bet that is mint. Well, green.
Yeah.
No, but I bet that is cool actually.
Yeah.
Is this the Pony one?
Yeah, Pony Express. So it had a horse. Do you know where that is? No, I don't know where it is.
Gotta find that.
So it's lime green and white, which you couldn't really wear it outside work because it had the horse on the back.
Honestly, no, you'd...
Yeah. So my very first job, I literally walked in and there was 3 of us, and this is when dispatch riding was really. We were the only 3 dispatch riders in Bristol.
I reckon that would be like the rock and roll of its time, right? It's quite an edgy job. It's quite cool. You're on a bike.
The job was.
You know what I mean?
In theory,
now it's web developers, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you're an app developer, you're rock and roll.
Oh, especially because we got for quite a few months, I was carrying the blood between 2 hospitals, so 4 operations, and you were basically given carte blanche to just drive as fast as you can. So they gave us this box with, I guess, refrigerated blood.
Stop you or something.
Like on the pavements, do whatever you want, sort of
get
thing.
It there.
Yeah, but there was no sign that we were carrying blood. We just sort of drove.
Yeah, what about, did you ever get pulled over? The police ever?
Yeah, you would, because we used to do things like.
Did they not stop you then? Did they know not to stop you? Or they stop you?
No, they'd stop you, and you'd have to show. There wasn't any like signage on it. It was just. But yeah, so my very, very first job was delivering a screw to, I think it was Rolls-Royce in Burnley. One screw, a tiny screw for a motor. And of course, in those days, there wasn't Amazon. You know, if you posted something, it was like 3 days, wasn't it?
It was just one. They didn't go, put 3 in just in case we screw up the first
It was
2.
tiny. It was tiny. So I had this tiny envelope that I put inside the jacket that was under the leather jacket.
Oh, yeah.
And this is so hilarious. So I get onto my bike going, right, I'm going to Burnley. And so the main idea of dispatch riding is you get there as quickly as you can.
Where were you based?
Bristol.
That's a long old hike.
It's a long old hike.
Yeah.
So I stop off at Birmingham and have fish and chips and mushy peas in a services.
Right.
This isn't what you meant to do. This is like they wanted me there quick.
There, right, yeah.
But I thought I'm entitled. I've driven for 70 miles.
I'm hungry.
I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Got back on, started snowing. So I did have a map, so I basically knew I had to go up the M, whatever it is, after the M5. I don't even know what it is now, M6, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm going up there, snow covering my visor, couldn't see at all. Saw some sign that said Manchester because I wanted to head towards Manchester. Missed it. Drove what I thought was towards Manchester.
Oh, God, no.
Got to the end of the motorway. Drove into what I thought was Manchester. Pulled into a petrol station and said, I'm a bit lost. Can you tell me where Burnley is? And he goes, calm down. I've gone to bloody Liverpool. So there's this snowstorm.
Where was he from? So I'm really doing it because you did it to me.
So anyway, very, very long story short, when I got to Burnley...
Well, you're not way off, are you?
No, it's up north. Anyway, came back, went to Burnley. I was so frozen that my gloves were frozen to my hands. Mm-hmm. They basically had to take me into this little office, defrost me to get this one screw out. And then you get back on your bike and go, I'm now going...
Did you ask him what the screw was for?
No.
Oh, wouldn't that be burning on your mind?
Well, it's a motor or something, I think, an engine.
I'd be like, what's all the fuss about?
I don't even know where this story's going. This happens so often. No, it isn't really cool.
I like it. All right, it's rubbish. Talk about maps. Paper-based maps.
Yeah.
So this is good.
Yeah.
You haven't told a good old story in ages, apart from your fairy tale. I was going to say you haven't told a true story, but your fairy tale was a true story.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
I sort of almost wanted to have like a list of footnotes to the fairy story, because people who aren't aware of the whole ridiculous nature of it.
I think everyone thought you were just making it all up.
Yeah.
But it all happened.
Yeah.
Just for the record.
Yes, it's all totally true.
Factually correct.
And it is a fairy tale.
You can't even get
imagine.
done. There's a few embellishments.
Do you think?
Yippee!
What? Yeah.
Yippee! It was good. Your King Boris impression was marvellous. Anyway, we're getting off track. But
so it's going back to paper maps. So yes, so much has changed, hasn't it?
Yeah, but I think we just lose that kind of muscle memory of remembering where things are, and you know, I think it's quite nice to kind of know and not be reliant on tech. We are, aren't we? And also on that tech, if we got lost, we just ask someone.
Yeah.
Stopped and wound the window. I don't think I've done that for years.
No.
Probably as long as I've had a smartphone. As long as I've had Google on the smartphone.
I wouldn't do it. No, I get your point.
Just drive to Liverpool, wouldn't you? No matter where you were going. Just hope for the best. But yeah, I think it's just kind of, we've gained so much, but kind of lost. I think, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a danger of being over nostalgic.
Yeah, I'm not saying I want to go back to the time where, you know, you couldn't just contact someone, or someone could let you know very quickly.
It does have a charm, though.
Yeah, I think it's go back to the speed, which we kind of talked about in the last episode. You know, that kind of it's just sped everything up. There's no chance just to kind of go, oh, it's all right, just to let it go. There's more anxiety created by it.
Definitely.
Do you know what I mean?
I think there's more
if
harm
they didn't
than
turn
good.
up, it's fine. No hang up. Is it that no hang ups bit? Is there's no? It's fine. It's all right.
I think one of the things that's made me smile recently is around, and this isn't a criticism of people per se, and I do it myself, but it's sometimes you'll be with somebody and they'll go, wasn't meant to rain today. And I'm thinking, it was always meant to rain today.
Yeah.
Because that's why there was rain clouds. But we look at the weather and it goes like bright spells, no rain.
Yeah.
And it's like,
it's just wrong.
Yeah. The internet said it wasn't.
It was always going to do what it was always going to do.
Yeah. And I think we have got to that point of like, whatever our phone tells us
to be true. Let's go on, Mark. Now, would you like to tell us all about forced reality and retribution?
So the last few days, I've been in quite a state of chaos mentally, not in terms of mental health, but in terms of being unable to... I referred to the Sam Harris podcast, which I've now listened to 4 times.
Is this the one on free will?
On free will.
Yeah, I've listened to it once.
And I'm
not sure I can listen to it again. It's going to melt my brain.
I'm at that stage where I'm suddenly realising, and this is something else that maybe we can have as another subject.
Because also we've just been talking about, you mentioned the weather, didn't you?
Yes.
And people kind of, isn't it odd? Sorry, I'm kind of don't want to derail your thing. But
no, fine.
Listening to the free will thing with Sam Harris, like so much of the stuff we talk about on this pod is one of those joiners of dots.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about consciousness, haven't we? People's actions and I guess responsibility. You'll probably be talking about the retribution bit, but it's been really interesting. And since I listened to that, I've actually kind of made decisions and carried out actions, which I've immediately kind of questioned because of that podcast.
Yes.
What I actually am in control of or not.
Yes.
And it's a real head bender, but it's real. It's really interesting, I think.
I think, I think, and this is what I'd like to do in another pod, so we just sort of like bookmark it very quickly, is listening to something that has stretched my intellect beyond what it's used to be stretched to has shown me, I don't know, not necessarily my inadequacies, but just the breadth of thinking that exists. And it almost goes back to the breakfasts. We carry on in these tram lines that we're comfortable with. And then I'm listening to this because I feel uncomfortable. And he's saying stuff and I'm going, I cannot cope with what you're saying. I cannot process. I cannot understand it. I have to understand it.
Yeah, it's undoing almost everything you've ever come to know.
Yes. And then occasionally he'll say something and I'm going, I don't think I can even explain. That has blown my mind, but I can't explain it, which is, I thought I was going to speak about it today.
No, but also you're trying to come to terms with it.
Yes.
You're trying to process it.
Yes, totally.
It's not, you've got to get to that kind of peace with it, haven't you? Where you can then try and explain it even in your own way.
Yes. And it's blown concepts of my existence and of what consciousness means and what our life means and just all of the things for 60 years I've believed to be true. An awful lot of them aren't true.
Yeah.
And I do tend to believe, and I know other people have a different view on free will than he does. So I think we will park it and we will come back to it, but I think it has to be well prepared. I don't think you can do it sort of back of an envelope.
On 3 bullet points. No, absolutely
not. So that got me thinking. And so the forced reality and retribution isn't necessarily to do with Sam Harris. It was to do, as I say, I've been chaotic in my thinking and that I've just been doing a lot of thinking on an intellectual level. I just want to learn stuff and I want to clarify some of the things that I see around me to give sense to it.
Those kind of podcasts aren't great for the curious minds, are they?
Yeah, it just opens.
You could either, I guess for someone who's not curious, they'll go, okay. But for people like us, you just go, what? No, just that bit.
Yeah,
I want to know
that
it
one
all.
sentence
I want to know
is
it
enough.
all.
Yeah. So what I've done is, and I'm really proud of myself because I've never used Dictate on my phone. So life hack, because I think other people are going to be in the same position. Go into Notes, go onto Keyboard, bottom right. There's a little microphone, and talk to your phone. And you can do a to-do list. You can do aims and objectives and goals and thoughts and
Before
prayers.
Smartphones, people had PAs for that, didn't they?
You can't carry a PA in your pocket.
No.
So forced reality and retribution is something I've made up. It's not.
No, it sounds cool. It sounds
Thanks.
like a period drama on ITV. That Pride and Prejudice.
Right. So this is my dictated notes. I'm just going to read this bit, and I haven't prepared you for this. It's just, let's just have a conversation in the snug. So what I'd like to do is discuss this subject of forced reality and retribution, and I'll describe what they both mean in a minute. Currently, there seems to be a fascination in holding people to account for real, alleged, supposed, or false crimes or actions that cause offence. And by that I mean any action now seems to be picked over as like vultures on a corpse until there's nothing left. But what I mean by forced reality is that the impact that that person's word or actions have is not related to the damage it causes. So the most trifling offences can be made into the most major, that people are having to resign or leave the country or go into hiding. And at the end of the day, it's because it has been made a big thing. And that's what I mean by forced reality. We often have more vitriol for people that have said the wrong words than someone who's committed a violent offence. The number of people who are violent offenders who are almost then made into celebrities or made into whatever. So just because something causes you offence does not mean, okay, so I said dictation was good. I'm going to put my phone down. And
freestyle.
Yeah. And this is going to be life before smartphones. But before I put my phone down, I'm going to just read this paragraph from the good dictation that I did in the early hours of whatever morning it was. And so then this takes us to the next place, which is what happens when we were attended to be sick Retribution City of Sources, our sisters and chicken recipes. I am posing stringent laws. What does it become? A power struggle for power struggle that ultimately will end in those people have the loudest voice unable to use the system.
It's just gone from a life hack to a,
Don't use...
whatever you do.
Use your brain, not your smartphone. Right. in a nutshell.
What does that mean? AKA?
People can be offended by whatever causes them offence, and it isn't for us to judge those people. If you are offended by something, that is a genuine feeling, and it's not for anyone else to go, you shouldn't be offended by
Correct.
that. However, if society allows everything to cause offence, then there is a danger that people will be offended on behalf of other people.
Yeah.
My argument is, in terms of people being offended, is to use the example of Naga Munchetty, the BBC Breakfast newsreader. She was on Breakfast News with Charlie State, he's a male newsreader, and they were interviewing a Tory MP, and at the end of the interview, Charlie made a comment along the lines of, isn't your union flag a little bit small? Because this Tory MP had a union flag in the corner of his sitting room,
right,
next to a picture of the Queen.
Okay.
And we know from Matt Hancock, and we know from Boris Johnson, and we know from the new press briefing room that showing the union flag behind you is now a Conservative. It's a dictate. All their MPs now have a flag. Piri Patel had it. Everybody.
Okay.
Patel.
This is something I've missed.
Well, it's product placing.
Yeah, okay. I saw lots of kind of hashtags about flags, and I didn't really understand what
so
it was all
Conservative
about.
Party, when they're interviewed now, 9 times out of 10 will have the flag draped. And
that's something now I'm going to notice, because I haven't been tuned into
And so some people were going, do you generally have that in your sitting room? And that was his argument. And he made the argument, your flag's a little bit small, because they've been so... And hence the thing why there's 4 union flags in the new press briefing.
Yeah.
So he made that comment, and then his co-host, Naga Munchetty, laughed. And I thought it was humorous. I thought it was almost going, well, you've done some product placing.
Yeah.
It's not wrong for me as a newsreader to comment on it. It was tongue-in-cheek. I don't think it was offensive. I think it was a legitimate question. Because I think it would also be a legitimate question to say, can I ask you one thing? How long have you had that flag, that giant flag in your sitting room next to a picture of the Queen?
Yeah.
And if he said,
visible on your video conference.
And if he said, oh no, I've had this for years, you could say, oh, lovely, that's fine.
No, I've just been putting, because I got the memo from Boris.
So if you are going to do product placing and someone asks you a question, I think it's fine to ask that. Anyway, so she...
Because I guess it was topical at the time that Charlie mentioned that. Was this flying around social, the flag stuff, or is it been a...
Well, this then started it off even more, because what happened is Naga Munchetty laughed in the background.
Yes.
And then...
I only saw it because I clicked on the flag shagger hashtag. I think it's flag shagger. Flag shaggers. That's what I saw. All the stuff, the brief history of flag humping.
So that was shown. Then later that evening, Naga Munchetty on her Twitter feed said, I liked tweets today that were offensive in nature about the use of the British flag as a backdrop in a government interview this morning. I have since removed these likes. Her grammar's not brilliant here.
Yeah.
This do not represent the views of me or the BBC. I apologise for any offence taken.
And the comments were to do with the Charlie's comments about someone having a flag behind them, and is that what she was commenting on?
Yes, and I think I haven't seen the tweets she's liked, because obviously she took them down. I think there were people going, they're obviously playing a game. It's obviously been a dictate from above that you must show the flag. And she's... Now, whether it was offensive against the British flag, so then the tirade of abuse that she got was, you can't even respect the flag of this country. You were making mockery of the picture of the Queen, God bless her. And I thought the undercurrent, rightly or wrongly, because she's quite a controversial newsreader, was...
Is she?
Yeah, she's come in for quite a lot of... She has a lot of sort of anger directed towards her, because she is fairly outspoken.
Okay.
But there was then the sort of agenda of the strong black woman. And I didn't see, maybe because Charlie didn't like any tweets, he didn't get this, or maybe because he was a white male, or maybe because that was then the third question was, well, he was the one that brought it up.
Yeah.
And she was the one that then reinforced it by liking tweets, but it was his original statement.
He didn't get the stick.
And he hasn't got the stick.
Okay.
Basically, my understanding is that she stopped liking them because of her needs to be impartial as a BBC news reporter.
Yeah.
And if that was the case, that everyone was impartial, you wouldn't have people like Andrew Neil, who are about to set up, in effect, a sort of right-wing news, who has been, a staple of BBC TV. I know he was taken on and then taken off and then brought back again, but used to have the political show after question time. So my thought there was that impartiality is maybe something we've discussed already in terms of the BBC. Has it been impartial? Has it been impartial on its coverage of COVID? Has it been impartial in its cover of the royal family? I would question that there has been a balance to everything that's been presented.
Yeah.
Therefore, if an individual, I was going to say nails her colours to a particular flag, but that's too many puns. But if she expresses something, you could go, well, sorry, you can't, you're a news reporter. But then does that mean she has no view, or that her
she
view
goes, I
be...
think this is great, but also I don't think this is great, to everything that she responds to?
Yes.
Is she completely not allowed an opinion at all?
Yes. But her job is to ask people their opinion of things. Does that mean... But she is still going to have her opinion.
Yeah,
that's
but
the point.
Back to your asking the questions. If you ask that question, you've got to ask all the other ones.
Yes.
So by asking a question, you are taking a stance, aren't you?
Yes.
Unless she immediately asks another question that counters the one she's just... Or even gives balance to the one, which they don't do. You can't do, because the news would be about 3 hours long, right? So it's a hard line to tread, isn't it? And it's getting harder nowadays.
Yeah. And so my view on that would be the fact that she apologised. If she apologised and said, as my position of news reporter, I shouldn't have done it, but her apology was very much along the lines of, oh, I shouldn't have done that because of the flag and the picture of the Queen. It was very much like, have I been disrespectful? And I'm thinking, you're entitled to your views. So the point I was going to make was it's around retribution. So this woman has had to formally apologise on Twitter. She's obviously been told, you apologise for showing that you're not impartial. So I'm just going to read this to you. The newly appointed chairman of the BBC has donated more than £400,000 to the Conservative Party since 2001. Former Goldman Sachs banker Richard Sharp is set to be appointed as chairman of the BBC's board as directors. This will see him lead negotiations with the government over the future of the licence fee. So the person who is now chairman of the BBC board is a massive Conservative and is now discussing...
Conservative donor,
he spent 23 years working for Goldman Sachs and reportedly oversaw the work of Rishi Sunak during the now Chancellor's early career in the finance industry. Shock.
Wow.
It also seems that the new BBC chairman has made a minor career in the field of Conservative Party fundraising, donating an estimated £416,000 to the party and its politicians since the turn of the century. Now, I don't think he can show any impartiality.
Unless he's wiped the slate clean and going...
Yeah, unless he's gone like, I'm going to give 400,000 to Labour. So the point I'm making is that his lack of impartiality is clearly there. He doesn't even have to like a tweet. He is a firm Conservative Party.
And they've hired someone.
And he's been hired by them to discuss...
knowing full well that is his background and that's his political stance. Yeah.
So why I'm saying about the forced reality of this is that a news reporter has made a humorous comment, his colleague has picked up on it, and she's been forced to bow to the masses. Yeah. But somebody who is clearly in the pocket, or they're in his pocket, of the Conservative Party is allowed to make a decision about how the BBC will go forwards. And I think that's what I mean about the forced reality. Everybody taking offence at that newsreader, it's a forced reality. It doesn't matter. And like in the last pod, we go on about everything that's happening in the rest of the world, in China and Ethiopia and all the other countries where stuff's happening. And we're so entrenched in our own importance that we want someone to apologise for taking the piss out of a flag. Yeah. And it's just, that's what I mean about the forced reality. And the retribution is now things need to be seen to be done so that someone pays back to society. And I know I'm pressing for time, so I'm going to be really quick on this one. This came up on the Sam Harris. We will talk about this in detail. Since Greek times, animals have been tried in criminal courts. Bear with me, I know I'm going on this.
Bear with me.
Right down from insects to elephants have been tried in criminal courts. And in the beginning, it was seen as a sort of religious thing that if an ox had killed somebody, then the ox would basically be slaughtered and that meat couldn't be eaten. On a slightly more grisly detail, if an animal had been involved in bestiality with a human, they had to be killed, as well as the human either locked up, but the animal had to be killed. Right. And the bit that I wanted to say, just to show how far we haven't come, in 1916, on the first day of work, an elephant handler was killed by the elephant. And this is in Tennessee. And long story short, the elephant was put on trial for murder and found guilty. And they decided that the elephant would be hung. So it was hung from a crane.
Bloody hell.
In front of thousands of people. And the chain broke. So they had to re-hang the elephant, which is horrific. And this is 1916. This is 100 years ago. The point I'm making is that idea of retribution being seen to be done is now happening on social media, that people lose their jobs for the wrong statement. They are forced to apologise for offence caused.
They want blood.
Yes.
And as soon as they got blood, it's like, where's the next?
Yes.
Where's the next blood coming from?
And so what's happening is that there's this massive emotion that people have to serve their time or say sorry or lose their jobs or be sad.
Be cancelled.
And it goes back to the whole thing about Caroline Flack and other individuals who are just hounded because they're now seen as fair game. And it almost feels a little bit like the Hunger Games, whereas now people in the public eye are just being hunted publicly via Twitter in the hope that they'll be eradicated, and then we can move on to the next one.
Mailbag. So, Mark, we've had some physical mail.
Right, physical mail.
Yeah. It's quite mysterious, but there was a note.
Okay.
And it's for both of us. Mm-hmm. And it says it has to be opened on air.
Let's open it on air.
Yeah. Very mysterious. We haven't had any physical... okay. I think that says you because it's got your name on it. It's a nicely wrapped. It's got a little bow on it. Tissue paper. You can hear. Let me open it. Oh God, it's well wrapped. Oh my God.
So I'm opening mine at the same time, so don't show me yours.
No, I'm hiding it behind my laptop screen. Okay.
All right. Have we got the same?
I don't know. You show me yours. Yeah, we have.
It's cool, isn't it?
So
you do the description.
Yeah, it's a spiral-bound notepad, and on the front, it's got our logo, our podcast logo with I'm Fine on it, and our two beautiful faces on it.
Yeah, looking good.
And this one says Damo's Podpad, work in progress.
And mine's got marks, so it's been
that's unbelievable.
Personalised. That's fantastic, isn't it? So what was the note? Just open on air. Yeah, that was the instruction.
That's it.
Right. So we're gonna have to do a shout out, basically.
But I don't know who it's from.
No. I mean, I'm guessing they listen.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know.
Well, no. Ask them to
come forward.
Yeah, unless they're we got the Russian spy and we got the captain. Maybe this person's.
It might be one of
undercover.
Maybe. Well, whoever you are.
Thank you very much.
That's mega.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to. I'll do a picture.
Yeah, that'd be
great. And then put it on the socials. But that's
awesome. Thank you, whoever you are.
Right. I'm a bit upset Google isn't recognising our pod at the moment. Do you know I put the Instagram up saying if you say play I'm Fine podcast, it's suddenly stopped the last day, suddenly not doing it and playing a similarly named podcast instead.
Is that because we've been anti-Google?
Have we?
No, I'm just saying.
Or big tech. I don't know. I'm going to find out what's going on and try and remedy it. But I'm a bit disturbed about that. Into life hacks then, if I may.
Yep.
This one, you'll like this one. Put black ink cartridge in a red or green pen because no one steals red or green pens. Just sickos like you. Locked and loaded. So this is a little bit similar to my speaking out loud one. As you lock the back door or turn the gas off before you go on your holidays.
Say it.
No.
Oh.
Remember holidays? That was
So
if we ever go on holiday ever again, you know when you're driving to the airport and you go, and someone does that fucking that inhale of breath, don't they?
Yeah.
And you go, what? And you almost want to slam the brakes, and you go, what? Someone died? You go, no, I'm not sure whether I'll lock the back door or not. Anyway, when you're locking the back door, turn the gas off. Do something odd. Stand on one leg. Do a jig. Sing a song. Just do something unusual
to
remind you that you did something unusual and that you did that thing that you wanted to do before you went on holiday.
Okay, so can I just add to that one?
Yes, please.
Because this has been going through my mind. I've lost my passport. I don't know how I've lost my passport. I've lost my passport.
Okay.
I don't know. There's the end of.
I can't argue that point.
No. I was going to go like, I just don't even. I've got nothing to add. However, this was my thought. When I put something somewhere, this is similar to your gas one then.
I put it on the sideboard.
No, I'm going to take a photograph.
Yeah.
So you'd normally go, surely you keep your passport in that folder or in that. The fact it isn't in that folder, I think I've had to show a picture of my passport to someone or some organisation.
Yeah, don't just take a picture of your passport. Take a picture of where your passport is.
Yeah.
Is
So
more
when you
importantly.
if you've taken it out of the folder where it's kept because you're going to use it in 2 days' time, I think I was applying for a job and I needed to show it.
Yeah.
And I think I've left it wherever I applied for that job. But if I'd taken a photo, so whenever you have anything like a wallet, your keys, because when I used to go on holiday, I would hide spare keys all around the house, and I have lost quite a few.
Yeah.
So I go, where would a burglar not look for the spare car keys, and like dig a hole in the garden? If I took a photo of that, then I'd
It's just remembering to do it though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just remember to take the photo. Have you got any home genie? I thought you had one from her, otherwise I'll do a viz one.
I sent you one where obviously she's trying to become the new Nigella, and I'd hoped I'd be able to see her on This Morning. She was basically saying with lockdown about to end, she was going to give tips on the essentials that you needed to have a drink with a friend in a park.
Oh, yeah.
And I was thinking a bench, a bottle of gin and 2 straws.
Mm-hmm.
It just seemed a very strange thing that a life hack was basically drinking in a park.
Yeah. Okay, should we move on then?
Yeah.
That's it. We're all done.
Done and dusted.
Unless there's anything more from you, from your good self.
Not a thing.
That's it for this episode. Well done for getting this far, and thanks for listening. Yeah, thanks for listening, and thanks for your presence. Presence. It's good that. See what I've done there. Give us a follow on Instagram and Twitter at I'mFinecast, and send your feedback and ideas to imfinecast@gmail.com. Don't forget to give us a 5-star review. We had another 5-star review.
Yeah.
Very good that was. On Apple Podcasts, and tell a friend or two. In the next episode, Small Steps Revisited, checking in on where we are at and how we've been doing in moving the old peanut along.
Yep.
So we'll see you in the next episode.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Take care.